I'm going to ask people to talk about the weather, just so that, if necessary, Bill can send a clip of it to confirm his French friend's opinion of what we're like.
Ok. C'est pour Patrick, mon vieux, mon frangin. Il y a un petit crapaud des vieux ici qui vous expresse un peu de...
Have we got to do it in French?
Well, we're sending it to a French
naturellement.
Naturellement, oui.
Okay, well,
no, it's all right. I'm just.
La plume de ma tante.
Et sur le bureau de mon oncle.
Oui, c'est ça.
Well, I'm going to talk about my holidays as a kid when going camping. And I don't know whether anybody else has had the experience of actually cutting short a holiday that they're camping because it just rains all the time, and you suddenly realise you're 10 times more miserable there than you would be at home. So you go home. I've done that a couple of times until I gave it up altogether, I think, at a certain point. And then, where of course on other times you get perfect weather, and of course camping abroad is very different to camping in the UK.
Oh yeah.
And it can be a very pleasurable experience there. They used to go on the Euro camp. I don't know whether you have anybody experienced that.
I did. I went Euro camping. Brilliant.
Yeah, it was really good, isn't it? Because lots of other kids around and everything they could join with.
Oh. Yeah, and everything was there for you. You didn't have to put your tent up in a raging storm.
And the other thing I remembered as a child, I think I mentioned this the other day. We used to go around to my Uncle Jack's and Auntie Joan's in Hayward, and I don't know, that there was a period when people took slides of their holiday, not photographs, because they were cheaper to do.
Yeah,
so you'd have a projector and you'd show the slides of your holiday. You'd turn the lights off and they'd have these holiday slides. And every holiday they went in, and we're talking about UK holidays here, not abroad at that time. Auntie Joan and Uncle Jack always said they have fantastic weather. And all the holidays that we went on as the kind of Leach family, we always seemed to have horrible weather at places like Rhyl and wherever. And you'd be sitting in a car, you know, with the windscreen wipers going, looking across at the sea, and then looking up at the sky and saying, "There's a little bit of blue over there." It might, you know, it'll be all right in a bit. And of course it never was. And I always wonder, well, I think they were just lying. I think that's what was going on with that one. Okay, anybody else like to say anything about the weather?
Can I just add the little thing about the slides?
Yeah.
That you'd have to go, you know, the group that you've got, you're going to show you slides to, we're all at one end of the room, and you have to wait while it's all loaded up, and then he starts. And sometimes they're the wrong way up, and you have to sort of wait while he lines them up again. And we used to think, well, don't leave them on so long, go quite quickly when you're doing them. But yeah, gosh, I was back in Woodstock Drive in my lounge then watching slides.
Well, and also the slides that you had then, you didn't have the carousels as they were called initially.
No.
They were just two slides, so they'd be putting one in and then moving across and moving it out, and that's when you got them upside down. Sorry, it's the wrong one. It's the wrong one. I won't be a minute.
So here we go. The sun is out, the sky is blue. There's not a cloud to spoil the view, but it's raining, raining in my heart. The weatherman says clear today, he doesn't.
But
it's raining, raining in my heart. The sun is out, the sky is blue. Yeah.
Yes, actually, you're quite right. I got it entirely wrong, that one.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Lorraine, who's now been thrown off by the internet. Anybody else got anything to say about the weather?
The weather. Yay.
I used to do a lot of youth hosteling when I was a teenager, which is very different from what it is today. I think you had to pay something like 7 and 6pence to be a member of the YHA, and you could go to you know, wherever, but you had to do your own cooking, and it was all in dormitories. There was none of this fancy ensuite rubbish, and you know, and there was a sort of shower room at the end of the corridor, I think, usually, and you slept on straw sometimes, and quite often you'd spend the whole day, I don't know, hiking or whatever, being soaking wet through, and there was this sort of array of wet boots and wet clothes that tried to dry off in the kitchen. But it was great fun. That was the nice thing about it. It was just like being out there on your own, and well, you know, with your mates rather than your parents, sort of thing. And I used to enjoy it. When we used to hitchhike in those days, which you don't see very much these days, and quite often it was lorry drivers and commercial drivers rather than private cars, and we just wanted somebody to talk to, I think. So we used to go around Devon, Cornwall, South Coast, South Wales. It's kind of quite a long way around, actually. It was and it was I think it was 1 and 6pence a night or something like that, for a bed. But you had to take your own sheets or your own sleeping bag or whatever. Yeah. And yeah, that's kind of like, obviously we had mixed weather. Sometimes it rained, sometimes. I actually got very badly sunburned in Devon one time, and I had to stay an extra 2 nights in the hostel because I was full of blisters. But there you go. When you're 17, you don't need sun cream, do you? Especially when you've got fair skin. Yeah. Well, they didn't have sun cream in those days, I don't think. I don't think it was invented, actually. It's kind of like you just went out and got burnt, but there you go. And
then you put something on it to cure, to what was it, calamine lotion?
Calamine lotion.
Calamine lotion.
That pink stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Yeah, but I came out in massive blisters.
I know. I mean, I was the same as a kid, going from Manchester down to Torquay on a family holiday. Well, you just don't know what the sun can do to you, do you? You come off the beach and you've been, you know, nothing on your shoulders, and it's just, as you say, on the shoulders. And
I think the problem was we took a boat out, and
right,
we were out to sea, and it was very hot, and you kind of don't realise.
Yeah, it reflects
because you're near the water, you don't realise. And then when I came back, it was like something from the swamp. Kind of like,
yes.
I've got to tell you this, Graham. When you were talking, then just thinking about my mates in Marseille. Boat out. You took your boat out. Boat out means beautiful shit in Marseille.
There's no need to take that attitude.
I was really thinking about all the weather rhymes rather than what you've mentioned, Bernard. I mean, I've dozens of stories about rainy holidays because, let's face it, holidays
in the UK, yeah.
tend to be rainy, don't they? In fact, it was after we went by narrowboat from Warrington, which was where it was moored at Preston Brook, up to Skipton on the boat, and we had to do the 21 locks that are in Wigan, the Wigan flight, and the whole holiday. Oh, this cat! It rained. And rained, and it was absolutely awful. And we got 3 small children. We'd got a Swiss girl who'd come over, you know, on one of these exchanges, and we were all in this boat. And I mean, they're very small inside, and it was horrendous. And trying to get clothes dry, and goodness. So when we came home, I said, I am never ever going on another holiday. 3 weeks. I've worked all year. I deserve a rest. And I said, right. And I was talking to someone at church, and she'd just come back from Eurocamp, Bernard. And she said, why don't you do that? So that's what we did the next year. I booked it the following week.
We're going to get some hot weather later this week, aren't we?
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Well, on the BBC weather one, it had it going up 2 degrees each day for the next 5 days.
Right.
So it's going to be, it could be up to over 30.
I don't think 30 reaches us, though, does it? It sort of cuts off in the Midlands, doesn't it? Not very high.
Well, that's what the BBC said on the
It's sort of like,
I don't know if you like. I mean, I'm not obsessed by the weather, but I've got 3 different apps so I can compare the forecast and choose the one that I like the best.
Oh, and that dedication. You just look out the window, Bernard. Much quicker.
you look on your computer and it tells you what is happening in the weather, doesn't it? It says it's raining now or it's warm
And
now.
you look
I
out
know,
and it's
you
not.
look
You
out-
feel like complaining. There's nobody to complain to.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Do you think they'd like the weather rhyme?
Go on,
Go on,
give
yeah.
the weather right.
Go on, why
Well,
not?
let me put it on the screen, and perhaps
Okay.
we could go around the screen and each take a month. There's only 2 lines per month. January brings the snow that makes our feet and fingers glow.
February brings the rain that thaws the frozen lake again.
March brings breezes sharp and shrill that shake the dancing daffodil.
April brings the primrose sweet and scatters, oh, you moved it, daisies at our feet.
May brings flocks of pretty lambs skipping by their fleecy dams.
June brings tulips, lilies, roses that flip around as it moves and fills hands with posies.
Hot July brings cooling showers, apricots and gillyflowers.
August brings the sheaves of corn, and then the harvest home is born.
Oh, warm September brings the fruit. Sportsmen then begin to shoot.
Brown October brings the pheasant. Then to gather nuts is pleasant.
Dull November brings the blast, then the leaves go swirling past.
Still December brings the sleet, blazing fire and Christmas tree.
And that's it.
And say something.
There's a little one. I've said it before, I think.
Go on.
Whether the weather be cold, whether the weather be hot, we'll weather the weather, whatever the weather, whether we like it or not.
Oh, that's
Oh, well done.
A good one, that.
Oh well, there is a French thing here. Quel temps fait-il? Il fait beau. Quel temps fait-il? Il fait beau. Quel temps fait-il? Il fait beau. Mais quand il pleut, c'est plus beau.
Merci.
Oh,
You see, we're running out of steam now, which just goes to prove that the British don't talk about the weather.
No, we're not very good at it.
Yeah,
are we?
absolutely.
What's your favourite season? Is everybody's favourite season summer or something?
Spring.
May and June together.
May and June. Yeah,
I
I
like,
think spring.
I like the spring, but I like April, May. Yeah.
Mm.
A friend of mine who's called Doreen, she likes autumn the best, genuinely.
I like autumn.
I think she prefers Manchester weather to anywhere else. She's really well suited to Manchester. Well, you know what I mean? Because I've lived in Manchester all my life, basically, and I've never really got used to the weather yet. You know, I'm always complaining, I don't know who to, about the fact that it's grey, it can be grey day after grey day. But I'm beginning to feel a bit more complacent about it now.
Good.
I mean, you know, they've got this drought down south. Well, it's for the whole country, you would think.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually looked up the water pipe network in England to make sure that they couldn't take water from the north to the south.
Oh, okay.
Northern water tastes better anyway.
And what was the result?
They can't.
You're not having our water.
The Tories decided it was too expensive to do. So that's one thing I can agree with.
good.
And the water up here is so much better than the
Yeah.
water in the south. Yeah.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
I was thinking I was being a bit unfair because we don't exactly get our water from Manchester, do we? We get it from the Lake District and from Derbyshire.
North Wales.
No, you don't in Mosley. We get ours from the rest of the road.
Yeah. Oh, right. Well, you're very
Oh,
local
wow.
then.
Mm.
Yeah.
I love late autumn and winter. It's such a misery. I love grey skies, mists, wind. When when the winds are blowing, I love that. It's fantastic.
I do. I love windy weather and all the leaves coming down. And
Yeah, and the colours, the Lake District in the autumn.
Well, the leaves are starting to fall already. I was out yesterday, and there's a lot of trees are beginning to shed the leaves.
Yeah, and Anita gets really annoyed when I say it feels positively autumnal now. No, it isn't. It's summer. It's summer.
They've not had enough water. That's why the leaves are dropping early.
Bonjour,
Hi,
Patrick.
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 Bonjour.
Bonjour, Monsieur.
Bonjour, ça va?
Yeah, Bernard,
Hello.
Ian, Maureen, Jackie, Derek, Graham, Sandy, and Lorraine.
What's
Lorraine.
sandy in French, isn't it? Shouldn't it be something to do with what's sand in French?
So it's doing the beach.
Plage.
La plage.
Plage.
À la part. Oh.
Plageux.